Hello everyone. In this lecture 7, I am going to discuss one-dimensional steady state conduction. From this video, we will learn how to find the temperature distribution in the slab with temperature as a boundary condition and how to determine the conduction heat transfer rate. As shown here, we have a slab with temperature as Ts1 as a boundary condition in its one side and Ts2 as a temperature boundary condition on its other side, where the Ts1 is greater than Ts2. That means temperature at this node is greater than temperature at this node, and there will be the heat that will be flowing in this direction because this temperature is higher than this temperature. So let's first understand what we mean by steady state. Here we have a wall which is maintained at 100 degrees Celsius, and we have a rod which is attached to this wall. Now initially our rod is at a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius everywhere at time t equal to 0. Now after some time, that is t equal to 5 seconds, we will observe that our rod will start heating up. Its temperature at every point will rise. Like in the previous, at time t equal to 0, we have 30 degrees Celsius at this node, and now at the similar node we have a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. Similarly here we have a 40 degrees Celsius, 35 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Celsius. And after time of 10 seconds, we have a temperature of 90 degrees Celsius, 85 degrees Celsius, 75 and 70 degrees Celsius. So this means in this case, in these three rods, our temperature is evolving with time. That is, at every point our temperature is increasing with the time. Now after time of 30 seconds, we will observe that our temperature is not increasing at a same point. So its temperature at this node is 90 degrees Celsius, as well as at a time equal to 10 seconds it has a temperature of 90 degrees Celsius. Similarly for 85, 75 and 70, that is other node. So this means in these two cases, that is between time 10 seconds to 30 seconds, our temperature in the block is not rising with time. This means our rod is in steady state. So what steady state means? Steady state means when the temperature at any point does not change with the time, then our object is in the steady state. Here I have drawn one graph. On the x-axis we have a time, and on the y-axis we have a temperature. And this plot is for our red points, these all red points. So at time t equal to 0, we have a red node at 30 degrees Celsius. So here at time t equal to 0, it is at 30 degrees Celsius. And now before 10 seconds, its temperature was evolving 30, 40, 85. So its temperature was increasing, and after 10 seconds, this is our 10-second line. So after 10 seconds, its temperature stop increasing, as shown here also. After this line is known as a steady state, where the temperature of a point is not rising. It become a constant as 85 degrees Celsius, where the reason where the temperature is rising with the time is known as a unsteady region or unsteady state. So I hope you are clear with the steady state. If you have any question or doubt, write me in the comments. Now I will discuss what is mean by one-dimensional. So one-dimensional mean when the temperature is a function of x coordinate only and the heat transfer is in one direction. So here our temperature does not depend on y or z axis. It is only the function of x axis, and that's why it is called one dimensional. Now I will start with the energy equation for the conduction that I have derived in my lecture 2. So here I have a slab where one phase is maintained at a temperature of Ts1 and another at a temperature of Ts2, and there is a heat that is flowing from Ts1 to Ts2, and Ts1 is greater than Ts2. So the assumption to find the temperature distribution in this slab with these boundary conditions are: one dimensional, second steady state, third isotropic material, fourth no heat generation. So let's modify our full energy equation to get a temperature distribution in this lab. Since our problem is of one dimensional, so del T by del Y and del T by del Z will goes to 0. There is no heat generation term, so this Q dot will also goes to 0, and due to the steady state of the problem, the change in temperature with respect to time will also goes to 0. So we are left with del Y del X Kx del Ty del X equal to 0, where Kx is our thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity of slab. Since we have assumed our material as a isotropic, so our thermal conductivity, that is Kx, is not a function of x. So we can take it out from the derivative and we can write del square T by del X square equal to 0. So this is our final second order differential form of energy equation that we have to solve inside this slab to get a temperature distribution inside it. Now integrate equation 1. So on integrating del square T by del X square equal to 0, we will get del T by del X equal to C1. Again integrate it with respect to X, we will get temperature as a function of X equal to C1x plus C2. In this case, we have a two constant, C1 and C2 constant. So we need to find this constant to get a temperature distribution inside the slab, and this C1 and C2 can be found by boundary condition. C1 and C2 can be found or determined by boundary condition. So at x equal to 0 we have Ts1, and at x equal to L we have a Ts2 temperature condition. So now substituting this temperature in our equation 2, from equation 2, that is this equation, at the rate x equal to 0, T of 0 equal to Ts1. So we will have T of 0 equal to C1, or we can write our C1 as Ts1 because our temperature at x equal to 0 is equal to Ts1. Now substituting the value of C1 in equation 2, we will get temperature as a function of x equal to C1x plus Ts1. Now substituting another boundary condition at x equal to L, that is Tx equal to L equal to Ts2. Now we will get T of L equal to C1L plus Ts1, and we can write T temperature at L minus Ts1 divided by L equal to C1. Now substituting the value of temperature at L, that is equal to Ts2. So we can write Ts2 minus Ts1 divided by L equal to C1. Now substituting the value of C1 in this equation, so I will get temperature as a function of x equal to Ts2 minus Ts1 divided by L into x plus Ts1. So this is our temperature distribution inside the slab, and this is a linear equation. That means our temperature is varying linearly with respect to x, or I can say our temperature inside the slab is varying linearly, and the equation of this thing is given as T temperature as a function of x, that is Ts2 minus Ts1 divided by L into x plus Ts1, where Ts1 is greater than Ts2. So we have succeeded in finding the temperature distribution inside the slab by modifying the energy equation as per our assumption. Now let's find the heat transfer rate through the slab. Heat transfer rate from the Fourier law, we know Fourier law, heat equal to minus Ka temperature gradient, where K is our thermal conductivity of slab, and A is the area normal to heat transfer. That is this area, which is normal to our heat. So this is our heat, and this area is normal to this heat. So this is our area. Similarly here, this is also area. In this case, our both area at the inlet and outlet are same. Now, to determine the rate of heat transfer at x equal to 0, we can write heat transfer equal to minus Ka del T by del x at x equal to 0. And we know our profile as temperature as a function of x is equal to Ts2 minus Ts1 divided by L into x plus Ts1. Now differentiating this equation with respect to x. So del T by del x equal to Ts2 minus Ts1 divided by L at the rate x equal to 0. So substituting this one in the heat equation. So we will get Q dot equal to minus Ka Ts2 minus Ts1 divided by L, or we can write it as Ka Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L. So finally we determine the heat that is flowing through our slab as Ka Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L. So this is the total heat transfer from our slab. Or little more modification, we can write this as minus K Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L, and this is our heat flux. Heat flux, which can be represented as Q double dot flux K Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L. So till now I have derived the temperature distribution and the heat flux in the slab. Now there is another method by which we can calculate our heat flux or total heat through the slab by thermal resistance. Now I will discuss thermal resistance for three modes of heat transfer, that is first for conduction, and then convection, and then for radiation. So let's start with conduction. So we derived our total heat in the case of conduction as Q equal to Ka Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L. So in this case, Ts1 minus Ts2 is the temperature difference, and this is our driving force. Driving force for heat flux. So we can rearrange this equation as Q double dot equal to Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L by Ka, where L by Ka is known as thermal resistance for conduction, and it's denoted by R, thermal resistance for conduction. So I can rearrange my equation as Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by R, thermal resistance for conduction. So this is analogous to our electrical circuit, where we know V equal to IR, where current we can write as V by R, where V is the potential that drives the flow through the circuit and R is the resistance of the circuit. Similarly, here temperature difference is same as voltage in the electrical circuit, and Q, that is a heat flux or total heat, as a current, and thermal resistance as a resistance in case of electrical connections. So L by Ka is the thermal resistance for conduction. Now let's talk about convection. So in my introductory lecture, I have mentioned that from Newton's law of cooling, from Newton's law of cooling, we can write heat as a H area T surface minus T infinity, where H is a heat transfer coefficient. So in this case also we can rewrite Q as a T surface minus T infinity 1 divided by AH, where 1 by Ah is called thermal resistance for convection. Now let's go to the radiation. So in radiation, we know heat transfer by radiation equal to Stefan Boltzmann constant, area, T surface temperature power 4, T surrounding temperature power 4. So I can rearrange this term as sigma A T surface square T infinity square plus T surface square plus T infinity square. Again I can rewrite it as sigma A T surface minus T infinity T surface plus T infinity T surface square T infinity square. So little rearrangement, sigma A T surface plus T infinity T surface square T infinity square T surface minus T infinity. Or again I can rewrite as sigma T surface plus T infinity T surface square plus T infinity square into area T surface minus T infinity. So this term is known as radiation heat transfer coefficient, and it is represented as HR. On rearrangement, I can write HR area T surface minus T infinity, or our radiation heat flux equal to HR A T surface minus T infinity, where HR equal to sigma T surface plus T infinity T surface square plus T infinity square. Now we can write radiation heat flux as T surface minus T infinity 1 divided by HR into A, where 1 by HR into A is known as thermal resistance for radiation. Thermal resistance for radiation, or we can rewrite as heat transfer due to radiation as resistance thermal due to radiation, or resistance thermal due to radiation. Now let's find the heat transfer through the slab using thermal resistance. Heat transfer by thermal resistance. So now I know that my thermal resistance in case of conduction is equal to L by Ka, where L is the length of the plate, K is the thermal conductivity, and A is the area normal to the heat transfer. So in my case, I have my plate or slab of length L. At one end it has a temperature of Ts1, and at the other end it has a temperature of Ts2, and it is having a thermal conductivity K. So I know my temperature, its thermal conductivity, and its length. So I can find it thermal resistance. So from our thermal resistance we know Q total heat equal to temperature difference or the potential for the heat flow into the thermal conductions, where our delta T equal to Ts1 minus Ts2 and resistance due to conduction is L by Ka. So we have both the values for our problem. By substituting these two in here, we will get our Q dot, that is Q dot, that is the heat transfer, Q dot normal to the area equal to Ts1 minus Ts2 divided by L by Ka. And we can also draw a network, that is resistance network for this one. If this is our point at temperature Ts1 and we have one resistance and here we have a Ts2, so this resistance is equal to R conduction equal to L by Ka for the same problem. So by this method also we can find the how much heat is passing through the slab, but we will not be able to find the temperature distribution by this method. Temperature distribution can only be found by solving the energy equation in our domain. So I will stop my lecture here. If anyone has a doubt, then please write me in the comment. Thank you.